Good morning. Happy Wednesday, all empathic sensitive souls. Denise here. How is the week going? I know it's Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. Hump day. We're halfway there, right? On Monday we drew that magic prayer card. I'm upside down today for some reason. And it speaks about following a dream. What's your dream? Are you following a dream that's not really yours, or a dream that somebody told you should have? Or are you trying to have someone follow a dream you have for them instead of finding out what they really want to do? I was really hard pressed this morning to come up with anything to talk about, and then last night I went to the middle school and the high school. Now I went to that, but the middle school was my junior high, and the high school was not, oh my gosh, nearly as huge as it is now. And when I went to grade school, it was in my local community, and it was grades 1 through 6. The junior high was 7th, 8th, and 9th, and the high school was 10th, 11th, and 12th. Well, now they consolidated all the little outlying elementary schools into one big elementary school, and then they moved 7th through 12th grade to the high school. And then the middle school, I think, is three, four, five, six, or fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. And I was just amazed at how small my junior high, which is now the middle school, looked. And I'm like, I don't think I'm that much taller than what I was when I went there. The lockers were so small. I'm like, my backpack wasn't any bigger than what the kids carry now. What happened? And then we got to the high school, and they have added on a new gym. I said, there used to be a wall there. There was never a hallway there. Oh yeah, that was there. My niece was telling me. I'm like, I don't ever remember. Oh yeah, that's the math wing. No, the math wing was down this way. No, that's the arts. Wow. So I felt very disconjointed trying to figure out what direction I was going in. And now, of course, they have to have an outer office that everyone enters through that's locked down before you can actually get into the schools, which is a good thing. But I'm like, well, what's going on in the or in the office that used to be the office? Oh, that's still the office, but that's the inner office, not the outer office. My times have changed. And as I sat there watching the kids, and of course it was total chaos, and I was watching the toddler, and he's quite rambunctious and very entertaining. Keeping an eye on him so my niece and the great niece could go through the school. But I'm looking at all these kids, and it was just fascinating by how many different types of energies, that may be the word I'm looking for, of these kids. A lot of them were nervous and scared. A lot of them were excited. My niece was nervous and excited because it's a brand new school district for her. And it was interesting watching the parents. And the parents were just as nervous as the kids. The kids didn't know that. And then we get to the high school, and there were a lot of older students coming in. And it was fascinating to watch them and watch how they interact with each other and watch how they interact with the teachers that were there. And I sat and I wonder what their dream is. I wonder what they plan on doing with this education. I wonder where their life path is going. What is their hope and dream? And then I'd look at the parents and I'd smile, because the parents, some of them, bless them, they just want their kid to get through school in one piece, like, please graduate, because there's so much attention deficit and autism now that to focus to get through all the general stuff that the kid is not interested in is a struggle. And man, I get it. There's remember reading a chapter in a book and you'd read it and you'd go, did I read that? And you'd have to read it and what was that about? And you'd read it like 4 or 5 times and finally you just gave up and moved to the next one because I had no memory of what I was reading. And it didn't correlate or correspond to what was going on in my brain because that was in a different time zone. And I look at these kids and I'm like, I wish there was a schooling process to help the kids excel instead of trying to force them into the mold of what we call mainstream classrooms, mainstream teaching. Because I look at my great nephew and that kid is not stupid by any means. If I had a quarter of his intelligence when I was his age, holy smokes, the kid is so smart, but he struggles with reading. Reading is difficult. I get it because I'm dyslexic and I had a heck of a time reading. But I wonder what the parents' dreams are for the kids. I asked my niece, well, what do you hope for the eldest? Well, I don't think he'll ever leave home. I'm like, what? This kid is more capable than you're giving him credit for. He is perfectly fine. He will, once he gets on his career path, whatever that career is he chooses, I said, he's going to fly. He's going to excel. This kid is amazing. And she had to take a step back and, oh my gosh, you're right. So sometimes even parents need to be reminded that your kids are more amazing than you're giving them credit for. But she's in the parent mode, and her mode is I got to keep him safe, and I got to keep him secure, and he's got to be happy, and we got to get through school. And I get it. And it's hard to step back and see and say, I wonder where he's going to go. I wonder what his direction in life is going to go in. Now, he loves playing Minecraft. I don't get it, but I play Merge Dragon, so who's to say, right? But he is totally fascinated in how his brain works is to build and create his world, which is fine. And I hear people say, well, kids on games like that, blah, 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 blah. But a friend of mine, her nephew, that's all he did. And they pretty much gave up on him ever excelling at anything in his life. He was the typical sit in his room, eat Doritos, and drink Pepsi or Mountain Dew for hours on end and not achieve anything. But coming out of high school, he decided to join our armed forces, and he worked with the program that created and flew drones. Now, I have issues with conflict. I don't like it. I don't think it's right. But I support those kids. I support the soldiers because they have no choice. That's their job. They have to go. They're told where to go and what to do. But he made a career and a good living out of his gaming years. Now, do I recommend that to everybody? No. But there is a career path for the kids that do that. So I can't say yay or nay to what they're doing. But I found it fascinating that watching these kids and watching their parents, and as a parent you try to control because you want your kid safe. And you want your kid to go on the correct path until they can learn right from wrong. But then you also have to give up that control and believe in what you have taught that child to continue on the path of right versus wrong. And then trying to find out what they like to do. And it is so hard nowadays. I read an article somewhere, this was years and years ago, probably 30 years ago, that the kids coming out nowadays will have 9 different career paths in their lifetime. I don't even know 9 different careers that I'm able to do. So it's endless. You don't have to stop pursuing whatever your dream is. Continue to pursue it. If it is you want to open up a paper crafting shop, pursue it. Why not? Work towards that goal. Write it out. Write a list of the 10 things you want to accomplish and then pick one of them and then write down everything under that one on how to accomplish it and start working towards that goal. Every day make the conscious effort to, oh, today I'm going to do this. Now, one of my main goals is I want to become healthier. And I do pretty good until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon when I get home from work. And then it's not so pretty when I get home and I'm hungry and I tear the house apart, gnashing on anything I can get my hands on. But I have to keep reminding myself I am making the conscious decision of what goes in my mouth. Nobody is forcing me to eat that candy bar. But oh man, I love a good candy bar. But I have to make that effort. I have to make that decision. And for me, a lot of it is a bad habit. I get home from work, I immediately think I need to eat something now. Why can't I wait until I get supper made? Why can't I guzzle a bottle of water to push that hunger down and hey, let's make a good supper? Because I'm in a hurry. I'm antsy. I don't have the patience to wait. So this is something that I'm working on. If there are things in your life that you want to work on, if you have a goal that you want to reach and you can't quite figure out how to get there, let me know. I'm an intuitive emotional healer. I work on your life path. I work on your life choices. I'm a life coach. That is what I do. I help you remove the energy surrounding all of those emotions. Like me, I'm an emotional eater. And when I sit and work on my emotions surrounding why I eat for comfort. Yes, I eat because I'm hungry, but I also eat because I need the comfort. I need that warm hug after the end of a hard day of work. So I surround it with food. Usually something caramely and chocolatey is my go-to. Ice cream is good in a pinch too. But I have to make the conscious effort of why am I doing this? And what emotion is attached to this? And then I work on going down the rabbit hole of that emotion and work to release the stress that the emotion causes within me, my body, that makes me crave that caramely chocolatey goodness. Now I can go all day until I get home from work. So now I have to change my mindset. I have to change the energy surrounding this so I can move forward with not necessarily a good healthy salad, but a good carrot stick is, there's nothing wrong with that either. So if you need help working on stuff, let me know. Send me an email, give me a holler, drop me a comment, drop me a direct message, whatever you need to get a hold of me, please do. Again, this is Denise, your intuitive emotional healer, signing off on Wednesday. Have a fantastic rest of your week. I will hop back in on Friday morning to see how it went. What's your magic prayer? What's your dreams? What do you want to accomplish? Where do you want to go? Let me know. Bye for now, everyone.